visit providence.org, Elder Place. Providence.org, Elder Place.
This is Big Poppy, host of Jazz from the Cabinets. Join me each week for a listening tour of the first century of jazz, an eclectic mix of Dixieland, big band, cool jazz, bebop, contemporary jazz, world jazz, all jazz in all forms. That's Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy on Rainier Avenue Radio, streaming worldwide on RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Women Empowerment Talk Radio, your roadmap to business success. Tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m. on RainierAvenueRadio.world, providing resources and sharing motivational experiences from the everyday entrepreneur. Tune in Women Empowerment Talk Radio every Sunday, 3 p.m. on RainierAvenueRadio.world.
This is a Rainier Avenue Radio message on fentanyl awareness in our communities.
We need to be a community in order to solve this problem. When I hear fentanyl, like you said, Tony, there's a lot of people who don't want to talk about it. And there is so much negative stigma that is attached to fentanyl, and it's this othering of the community right up until it is their family member, which is increasingly happening. And I hate that a lot of people just refuse to engage in these conversations until it's too late for their family member. A secondary trauma is something that we also hold space for and have to live with as well. This community has, I think, experienced a disproportionate amount of impact from just drug use in general.
This has been a Rainier Avenue Radio message on fentanyl.
Rainier Avenue Radio. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of Let's Say Hi. How's everything going? You know, we are coming in our past week and our last week of Valentine's Day. So we're going to be talking about some very special things here today on our episode. But how's everybody doing? We had President's Day last week. We had Valentine's Day last week. Everybody's just kind of like slowing down and kind of recuperating. And we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for March and for April before tax time. So once again, we want to give you a fair warning. Tax season is coming up, and April is going to be a good time for us to get going on our tax returns. And we want to spend February and March taking care of our taxes. So today we're going to be talking about a very special issue. We're going to be talking about love in your home. Now we know that almost 30% of all homes are actually owned by single women. So what do single women want? Well, maybe they want love. So we're going to be talking about how you can actually find somebody and the ramifications of love and online dating, and we're going to be talking a little bit about how you can get love in your home should want it. So our other guest, Violeta, is not here with us today just yet. However, let's go ahead and bring on our guest. We have Shervin that's going to be joining us today, and he actually is the founder of Hidden Innuendos. So Shervin, welcome to the program. Are you on?
Hi, Tina. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well, thanks for having me.
Great. It's great to have you here. So great. Tell us a little bit about what you do and tell us a little bit about Hidden Innuendos.
Absolutely. Yeah, I went through a heartbreak on New Year's Eve of 2021 with a girl who I was in love with, and she broke my heart in a million pieces. Mm-hmm. My therapist was only there when I paid her to. Friends and family were only there for a short amount of time. For as a single grown man to go through the heartbreak journey on his own was quite detrimental. However, it was necessary. And as I got better, I was asking myself the question is, I can't be the only one that's alone. And as that question kept resurfacing, as I got better throughout my journey, I decided to come up with a podcast for those who are dealing with dating struggles and learning about how or if they'll ever find love again.
So you said January of 2021, was it?
January of 2021.
Wow. Okay. So when this happened, I know it was very, very traumatic, but you said like your therapist was only there when you paid her or you paid them. What is something that you do besides therapy? What did you go through? January, February, March. What did you go through after that?
A lot of self-reflecting. I did a lot of walks. I listened to a lot of inspirational music, a lot of Christian music. I attend a lot of weekly churches, and mostly I was just trying to figure out ways of what books to read. There are a couple of great authors that wrote some heartbreak books. Mostly self-reflecting, asking myself the question is not why, but how can I get better? Not like questions of why did she leave me? More like how can I get better as an individual? How can I help others? Figure out what steps are necessary for me to overcome the harm.
Okay, so in other words, you didn't blame yourself. Basically, you're trying to see afterwards what you can do to be better.
Exactly. Yeah, I think once you blame yourself, then you start to question yourself and dig yourself in that deeper hole. So you can't do that. I think you owe it to yourself to know that it's not your fault and try and find a resolution within yourself.
Right. So let me ask you. So do you live by yourself?
I have 2 young kids. So they're my roommates, the messiest roommates on the planet.
I hear your pain. I hear it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So are they're a teenager? How old are they?
I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son.
Okay. So they were exactly the age where you can actually turn to them for advice.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. My daughter was there because she's very mature for her age. So when she saw that her dad was struggling, when she happened to notice me crying in a corner, she can tell that there was something off. And she would come over and pat me on the back and just bring out that love that kids provide for their parents. But I think she gave me a little bit more than my son, which is okay.
Okay. That's okay. Yes, I have a daughter too, and she's been through it. I think started at 13 years old. You know, she's now 27, but actually she was my free therapist. She didn't charge me.
Yeah,
she did charge me, but in different ways. But yeah, so so our whole vein I want to talk to you today about is being in the home, and your home is your sanctuary. The home is where you live, and we want to make that the most positive environment that we have. And so we're going to bring Violeta on. She's our other host, and she's going to pop in really quick. They want to get to some more questions. Hi, V.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, V. Sure.
Hello. Welcome.
Yes. So Violeta we've known each other for like 30 years. We started out in radio with each other.
Hey. We're not that old.
Well, yes, you're right. It was a kids program. We were 5 and 6 years old then. Yes, thank you. So we were just talking to Shervin. I was talking to him about, the home, and he's got children. I had children in my home when I went through heartbreak, and how important it is to have a home, and to fill that home with love.
Yes.
So so Shervin was sharing with us how he was, he had nowhere to turn. He turned to church and that sort of thing. But so he's going to tell us a little bit about hidden innuendos and what does it do for people who actually has gone through heartbreak? Tell us that.
Yes. Please.
Exactly what it is. It's an online platform. It's a podcast platform where people come in and talk about their dating struggles, recent dates that they've gone on, any heartbreak journeys that they've accomplished, currently going through, willing to achieve the struggles of overcoming a heartbreak. And also the overall question is whether or not after a heartbreak or a bad relationship is when or if they'll ever find love again. So my job is not to ridicule. My podcast is a nesting platform for those who want to really talk about what's going on in today's relationship world.
Okay, great. So tell me some of the clients that you have. Where was their journey? Where did they start at, and where are they at now?
It's a great question. I have reached out to some of my older guests, and they're doing fantastic. Some have found love. Unfortunately, some have fell out of love when we had the podcast, some were in a relationship, and unfortunately, I was notified about a month ago that they're no longer together due to some really unfortunate incidents. But again, so far, a lot of my guests are doing quite well. Some of them are still dating, which is acceptable and understood. But I do believe the ultimate end result will be that if you stick to what you're doing, if you really believe that you're going to find someone, whether or not that's online or organically, you will find love. And also, another part of this podcast is for me to be that virtual matchmaker. So in essence, this podcast is not only going to change the dating world, but it will be the #1 romance podcast in the nation.
I believe that. Yes, Violeta, I was on Shervin's show the other day, and he grilled me. He grilled me. Yeah. He pulled apart my profile.
With love.
A thing or two. So yeah. So now, really quick. So I know Violeta is the realtor of the situation, and we see clients that have newly been through a divorce and they're looking for homes. We see clients that are newly married and they're looking for homes. Some with mixed families, what have you. So if you were to find somebody, and most of these people were to find somebody, what type of homes do you think they would look for? Would they look for a home where the kids are on one side of the house, you're on the other side of the house? Would it be a blended family? What do you think somebody would look for?
Well, I think that depends on the relationship and the person that you're dating. I think you need to have an open conversation with them about what you're looking to do. Can we include the family together? But for me, I'm a firm believer in blending the families in, because if we're together for a reason. And if we love each other, we love each other for a reason. Henceforth, why can't we sprinkle our kids in the relationship as well? It's kind of like the old-fashioned Brady Bunch. Is at first they didn't like each other, but now if you go back at the older episodes and seasons, they were family. So I believe that if you are going to intertwine couples together and kids, it can be very possible to have and overcome one family in lieu of two.
Right. So Violeta, what do you see, Violeta, when you look at homes that people are a blended family? What do they look for?
A blended family. Yes, a big open space, as most everybody's looking for right now, so that you can all be entertaining, all together in one big family room, dining room, kitchen, living room, so you feel like a sense of being close and being able to communicate that way.
Right.
And
Right.
don't you
Yes.
think?
Yeah.
I can't see you guys. I don't know why I can't
Okay.
see you, but I wish I could see you. And you're from the picture I saw, I think you're quite a handsome man. So sorry I can't see you.
Okay. But yeah, but no, so let's shift really quick. We always talk about on our show how women own like 30%, single women own like 30% of the market.
Sure.
So on your dating apps, when you talk to women, do you find that women do have their house, they have that bit of security behind them, or what are you finding?
That's so funny you mentioned that. There have been an uptick in independent women who I've had on my podcast who are extremely wealthy, who don't really need to be saddled up with another guy. But yes, a lot of these women are finally finding a way of independence where they're buying homes or either live in their current homes that they've had before their ex-husband, kicking them out, which is kind of cool. Again, I think a lot of these women, which I am a strong proponent of independent, strong, financially secure executive women, because I believe that even though they are higher end women, I do believe that they've got some broken hearts.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you?
Now, I believe.
Now, do you? Well, do you find that it's a plus? I mean, there's all these stories about men are intimidated by women who've got wealth and got homes. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I will tell you truthfully. I was dating a girl who was an executive. She was a director, very well off. And I was not intimidated by that at all. Unfortunately, there were just things in the relationship where we just didn't see eye to eye on. But like I said, I encourage independent women. I find that to be very attractive in a woman. I prefer my women to be independent and well-driven. And again, I don't get intimidated by that. But for men that do, I think you need to reevaluate why you are. Because if you are dating and you are in a relationship with someone, in particular with a woman who makes more money than you, you got to look at it as a team.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. So how about women looking at men? Do you think women find it, if they have a house, you think that they find men who don't have homes? Is it a negative thing, or do you think that women care?
I don't think women care anymore. I think as far as the financial stability, even though it's a great cushion for women, I don't think it's a necessity for women. I think that more they're looking for emotionally intelligent men who can have mature conversations and ultimately will be monogamous. So what that means is that once you're in a relationship with that woman, you want to stay with that woman. A lot of these women are fearing that may be the outcome. So I don't believe money is the end all be all, but I can tell you that most of my guests really don't care about the money factor.
Okay, that's very good to hear. It's very good to hear. So Violeta.
Yes,
Violeta,
ma'am.
What
I have a question.
Yes. Uh-huh.
On the reverse, we've talked about divorces, single women. What about women who've just lost a spouse? Do you get these calls from women who say, is it too soon? When is it too soon? My family thinks it's too soon after my spouse passed away from an illness or what have you, to go buy another place. And there's some women I know who, again, lost a loved one and have said, I can't be in the same house where we were together. Have you gotten those calls, and what is the right time to do that, to move on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've had multiple women, multiple guests that come on who are widows or widowers, and as horrible as it is, I believe it just depends on you. If you want to move on, then move on. But if you feel like you want to keep this house for a sentimental reason, i.e. the loss of your husband, then keep it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that it just depends on you, and most importantly, how strong you are to make sure that you're not going backwards and you're moving forwards with the mindset that, yes, he's gone, she's gone, unfortunately. But again, I want to keep this house for that reason, because I want to remind myself of the relationship that I had in the past.
Do you ever listen to family members? Should they listen to family members who are saying, why are you doing this now?
No, to be honest, I didn't listen to my family, especially when family members tell you to move on and friends tell you to move on, because it's a very negative trait, or it's a negative comment to say move on. The way you got to rephrase it is take the time you need. And family members and friends, importantly, need to understand when it comes to a heartbreak or mourning of a loss, yes, it takes lots of time. And most importantly, everyone's time frame is different as far as when they can overcome a heartbreak. So I didn't listen to my family because I needed the necessary steps for me. But this goes back to you, is that if you feel like you need more time, only you and yourself can really answer that question.
So that's a very good thing to say, because I mean, there's a lot of women that are dating. Maybe they're dating somebody a lot younger than them, and their family's just like this in their ear. You can't do that, or somebody's a lot older than them, and So what do you say to those women who come to you and they say, "Listen, I want to make a move because I met this gentleman across the United States. I want to move there." Do you think it's a good idea, or does it depend on their situation?
I will tell you this truthfully, I am not a proponent of long distance relationships. I don't believe they work. However, if that woman feels that they have a strong connection, and if she has the manpower and the ability to do that without leaving her family or her job, and she feels like it's the right thing to do, then I would do it. However, I would err on the side of precaution, is if you just met that guy, whether it's been 1 month or 1 year, I would still be a little cognizant about moving. However, if it's been 3 years and you both are still strong with the long distance relationship, I think one of you should really make the move. But I think 1 year is a little too soon, if you ask me.
Okay, those are very strong words, and I'm glad this is recorded, because I'm going to send this to several of my friends. Okay, so yeah. So well, I have a question too. When women are single, we go crazy, we change the house. Sometimes we do move somewhere else, so it's more conducive for a single female. So when men go through heartbreak or something, does it ever occur to them, I want to move, I want to change things? And if so, what do they change? Mm-hmm.
I love how you brought that up here. And I will tell you, the night that ended the relationship, I was thinking, what can I do to better myself as far as getting rid of her? And what I did, truthfully, I got rid of my bed. I literally got rid of it. I got a new mattress, a new bed frame, everything. And for men and women, I should say, and again, this is just for me, I can only speak for myself as a man, but I got rid of pretty much everything that resembled her, whether it was the bed, if it was the same coffee that we drank, if it was coffee cups, T-shirts that I wore with her. I threw away everything, because if the whole point of it is to move forward, you can't keep the past around. And as much as I really cherished our time with her, she broke my heart. So there's no reason for me to keep these things that are going to make me think of her. Even though that's a sentimental value, I think for men, importantly, is you need to really remove all the items, all the no contacts, all the pictures, and just get rid of them, regardless of how expensive they were.
Wow, that is very wise information. That's very wise information. Wow. So yeah, okay, well, great. V, do you have any other questions? I know you had a couple.
When you are, say, you're dating, you find a great home, you think down the road you're gonna get married or be together, you're gonna sign contracts as an unmarried couple. Is that a good idea? Or I know you could probably change it later, but
Yes.
is that a good thing to do when you're just kind of starting out and all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're in love. I think this is it. Let's go buy a house.
Yeah, I don't mean to be the downer of the conversation, but I will tell you truthfully, unfortunately, I'm not seeing a lot of that because a lot of people who are looking for relationships are not even going past the second date. So to hear marriage and living together, that sounds like I think landing on Mars is going to be first before people accomplish it. And I mean that with all respect because we are constantly going backwards in the dating world because we're so fixated on the physical appearance rather than the inside. And again, my job as a podcast host is to change that, and I intend to do that. But to answer your question, I don't believe that you should be signing any contracts. I don't even, like I said, you should not be living with someone until you are absolutely 1000% certain that you guys are going to stay together.
Yeah,
And you can have that mutual bond where I'm not leaving you, you're not leaving me. And then maybe later on down the road, come up with some type of signed document.
Wow. So okay, so let's talk about the reverse of that. If you want to be somebody's sugar daddy, please talk to the people out there who want to buy houses in a sugar daddy capacity for their significant girlfriends.
I'm going to be, I know, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but I'm not, this may sound odd, but I'm not driven by money. And for anyone to be driven by money in a relationship, then you're not doing it for the right reasons. I've been around money. I used to have a lot of money. I've been around women who've got lots of money, but I don't feel that money should ever be involved in a relationship. The whole point is if you are trying to get to know that person, you're trying to get to know them internally, not monetarily, not physically. So if you are trying to be that sugar dad, your sugar mama, if you're trying to chase that person, then obviously you're not doing a great job as a human being because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to hurt yourself and that person as well.
Mm-hmm. This is very good. Yeah. And I also see sometimes I see women and I see men both. They try to buy properties without their significant other, without their husband. And I know in Washington State, we have to sign something, and I think in California too, it's a community property state. So you have to have your spouse always sign whenever you buy another property. But in those states where they don't require that, what do you have to say to those folks out there who are buying properties without their spouse knowing?
Oh gosh, why? Why are you holding back from them? It's kind of like you're cheating in a way. That's the way I feel, is that if you're not telling your spouse what you're doing, especially when it comes to buying something so significant like property or a car, I think that's a huge slap in the face. That tells you I'm going to do whatever the hell I want, and I'm going to tell you that whenever I feel like it's necessary. So if I were in a relationship with a woman, I would tell her everything before I even plan on doing anything. Because guess what? She may say, let's find something else, or let's find a better car. So you kind of have to reevaluate exactly what you're trying to accomplish, but you want to do that with your significant other for sure.
This is true. So let's say that you were married before, and you've got like 5 houses. You have 5 investment properties, and now you get into a new relationship. You do get married. How do you feel about putting them on the deeds or sharing the property that you had prior to a marriage or a situation?
Yeah, I feel like we've got the capability to be cordial with our exes, especially if we're raising children together. And I think it would be necessary and incumbent upon us to sit down with them and let them know, I do not want to have any violent conversation with you. I want to have a very civilized conversation with you. You and I, we both loved each other at the time, but you and I got a job to do. We got to raise these kids together. Now that I'm in a new relationship, I would love to let you know that her and I are going to be in this together. And I would like to include in the deed. However, I would like to compromise and still include you. So I think that if there is an open communication with you, your ex-spouse, and your new spouse to let them know where you stand, I think that there could be a way of really coexisting with all three.
This is really good. This is good. And and Violeta, V, you can chime in here. She always sees couples, husband and wife.
Sure.
And so V, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask Shervin, who do you listen to, the wife or the husband? And who should you listen to?
The wife. always a wife.
Explain, my dear. Explain why.
Well, you've all heard happy wife, happy life.
Mhm.
And so she chooses a lot of things around the home, how to decorate, how to, and even how she looks in a car. Is this the right car for me? Is this the right house for me? So I listen to the wife. I listen to the husband too. They have to come to a compromise, but the wife is always going to win.
Sure.
Almost always.
Okay. Yeah, because it's her nest. Women like to nest. So, Shervin, would you agree with that, or would you like to expound upon that? Or
I'm going to play the advocate here. Even though, again, I love women, I believe that women should always be right because I know women are right. They always should be. That's what's always right.
Very good.
However, though, I would never want it to be where my wife or my new girlfriend, whoever she is, buys something without saying, I want to ask Shervin what he thinks, right? Is he happy? Before we buy something, I want to know if he's going to be happy as well, because the whole overall end game is for us to coexist together. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about us. And I feel that if the next girlfriend or whoever she is happens to do something without me, I'm hoping she would never do that in the first place and say, you know what, I want to make sure that Shervin's going to be happy with this place too. And most importantly, I want to make sure Shervin's kids are happy with this place as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the kids are the indicators. They're the truth sayers. You let the kids run free and they'll tell you exactly if this is right or wrong or whatever. And we're wise to look at their advice and their wisdom. Even at a young age. They're always right.
Became an ice cream.
Yeah. Well, tell us, how are things? So you're in Irvine, correct? Or where are you at?
I'm in Orange County. I'm in Aliso Viejo.
Okay, yes. So how are things going there? Just really quickly, how are things going there with housing, the economy after the fires?
Well, right now I know LA is on fire. Well, it was on fire. It's I know that they are reconstructing as we speak. And again, the city of LA, not only is it a strong city, but you've got the strongest people. They've got the biggest hearts, and I know that they'll overcome this without any hesitation, and they'll probably forget it once it's all built up again. They want to move on and move forward. But with Orange County right now, the properties are, right now there's not a whole lot of homes for sale right now. Everything's getting gobbled up. However, I know that the landlords are taking full advantage of the LA population migrating south Orange County. And even though it's becoming very safe, man, it's tough. I'll just tell you that, because you're seeing more people, and then of course you're driving housing markets to skyrocket, leaving a lot of investors kind of asking the question, where can I go now?
Right. So you don't see a lot of people saying, hey, we're out of here. You're seeing a lot of people saying, no, we're going to dig down and we're going to rebuild this community and stay here.
I would say half. I would say most of the people that I talk to, half of them want to leave. Half of them say they want to come out to Orange County. Most of them are heading out of the state.
Okay. So that also puts a play on people meeting and dating people too. So are you coming? Are you staying? Or are you going? So would you agree that also affects the market?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, I think we're at the end of our show, but we thank you so much for your information. I mean, you've opened my eyes on a lot of situations.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, ladies. I mean, look at this. I'm the lucky man. I get to be with two wonderful ladies. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
How can we get a hold of you, Shervin? If we want to get part of Hidden Innuendos, how do we get a hold of you?
You can find me on TikTok, Hidden Innuendos Podcast, or you can find me on Spotify, which is Hidden Innuendos Podcast.
Wonderful. Yeah, see, there's your beautiful picture right there. That's the one that Violeta's talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I don't see anything, so sorry.
Okay. We'll have to show you later.
You're not missing out on anything.
Anyways,
well, thank you, Shervin. Really
we'll
appreciate you joining us.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you.
Yes. Okay, we've got some announcements before we go here. We want to repeat the call to Conscious Black History Month Museum is open every day for the rest of the week from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. until it closes this Friday. So get your tickets now at calltoconscious.world. So V, anything exciting before we say goodbye today?
No, it's kind of sunny here right now. I'm excited. Okay. We had a lot of rain this morning, and then I got a lot of business happening. So I'd rather do it in the sunlight than rain.
Yes.
So
yes.
thank
Well,
you, Mother
Well,
Nature.
it's finally 60, 65 or something degrees. I was sitting out on the porch
Oh,
for most
wow.
of the day today. But yeah, but hopefully the market will start kicking up. I'm getting people trying to make oddball offers on different things. So it's spring, people are like they're reaching and they're grabbing, and the rates have got down, so FHA and the sixes and just stuff like that. So if you're interested, give Violeta or me a call.
Yes,
We'd love to show you some
please.
houses. Yes.
All right, let's sign off. I'm Violeta Strash with Coldwell Banker Danforth.
And I'm Tina. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.